Hey you guys, whew, we are dodging a bullet here. I am going to turn this over to my camera person and see what else I can do. We were experiencing technical difficulties. All right, there we go. Here you go, I guess keep it like this, Maya. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why things are going the way they are, but hopefully everyone can see. When you log in, please let us know you're here, because what we just experienced was a very weird occurrence. But welcome to Bariatrics and Tips. I am Michelle Geeson, your hostess with the mostest, and we are here for a very wonderful, delicious, sweet treat, my homemade date squares, and I can't wait to show you. I also have a bonus recipe to show you too, and my camera person, Maya, my wonderful, beautiful 16-year-old daughter, is behind the camera, and she will keep me going with questions that you might have and such. I know one thing we have in common is that we are all gearing up to have weight loss surgery, or we've had weight loss surgery, and I'm happy to report I just had my seven-year rebirthday. 7 years since gastric bypass, 130 pounds down. I can't be happier with the way my life has commenced since that rebirthday. And I've dedicated my life and my existence to showing ways to live large while I cook small and find flavor in everything that I do. And these date squares are no exception. The date square recipe is, it kind of goes against the grain from other recipes of mine in that it's higher in calories, it's higher in carbs, it's higher in sugar, but we're talking natural sugar and natural carbs. And that is why I love this. And you really only need a little bit in order to feel satisfied. So it makes a great little energy type thing for you. So I want to jump in. Maya, if you can come around. Do we have any questions we need to deal with? Are you having issues? What are your issues? Just talk. It's uncomfortable. Well, you don't have to walk like that. All right. I wish you guys could see how she's walking, because it's pretty funny. But at any rate, date squares, I'm going to go through the recipe with you. There's something that we have to do on the stove, and then there's something that we're going to do over here. We're going to do the stove part first, because we are going to cook the date concoction, and then we have to let it cool just a little bit. So I want to tell you, first of all, Maya, come around here, and as I take the ingredients, you can come in closer on this. Let me see. I want to look from your point of view. How are we doing here? Oh, yay. I'm so glad everyone made it. That was so stressful. All right. So dates. Here are my dates. My hot date. These are fresh dates. I bought these at Sam's Club. It's about $7 for this 2-pound package. They are extremely delightful. And I want to show you how they appear. I was very intimidated. These dates are actually chopped. I've already done this for the sake of the recipe. But this is, come look at me, Maya. This is how they come to me in here. And they have to be pitted. But never fear, super easy to do. All you do is split them in half and take out the seed. Super easy. They are nature's candy. They are absolutely delightful. Okay, so I wanted to demonstrate how you take the seed out if you weren't familiar. So we need to have 2.5 cups of dates that are pitted and chopped. And what I did for this is I actually, because they're so, even though they're considered dried and fresh because they're wrinkled, it's really hard to chop them with like a knife. So I went ahead and I used a kitchen shears and I cut them into small bite-sized pieces. So we're gonna have these 2.5 cups of dates go into a saucepan, like a medium-sized saucepan. All right, and then we are going to add a scoop of unflavored protein powder. So this is the stuff that I get at my local bariatric office. My office, it's called Nectar. And for those of you that use it, you can certainly chime in. I love this stuff. It is what I'm using slowly and surely to replace the Gene Pro. And all we need for this part is just 1 scoop. So bada boom, bada bing. All right, can't taste it at all. Then we need a cup of water. So let me get that. Maya, are you focusing?
I'm trying to.
All right. Okay, cup of water, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is Splenda brown sugar. I have started using this sparingly, but for all intended purposes here, you could substitute this for honey if you wanted. It's a preference. I do like the brown sugar. So let's go over to the stove and let's get this started. All right, so really look. Do you want to extend this? I don't know why you're struggling, sweetheart.
Because my hands.
Okay, well, hello. This is the Maya and Michelle show. Okay, so you need to get this to a boil. This is going to be the filling part. Maya, would it help if you took it off the selfie stick and just held it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, you guys. We're experiencing... Okay, is that better?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, but you have to zoom in where you... I mean, you're going to have to really... Okay, so we need to get this boiling, and we're going to cook it for about 5 minutes until the dates fall apart. This is really critical, and as soon as it boils, I've got it on power boil right now, we are going to add a half of a teaspoon of baking, what do I have here? Baking soda. All right, so hang on there. You keep focusing on that little one. Yep, a half a teaspoon. For some reason, I thought it was a quarter, but we're going to actually use a quarter teaspoon of baking powder for the crisp portion of our date squares. All right, so can you get over? Yeah, there you go. Everybody wants to see the yumminess of the date squares. So while these are boiling, stay just like that, Maya. I want to talk to you a little bit about these dates. I don't know. I just really discovered dates relatively recently. I mean, I knew they existed, but I never really had any desire to eat them. And you can actually tell whether or not dates are dried or fresh based on their appearance. So, oh, hi Misty. And so this one that I showed you, these are considered dried dates even though they're extremely soft and moist, and that's because they have their wrinkled skin. So there's a fun fact about dates today. You know, dates in general, I think they're considered like 80% sugar. But there are no adverse effects on blood sugar. They're actually considered low on the glycemic index because they help regulate your blood sugar. They are slow release, kind of. They release their carbohydrates slowly, so it gives you sustained energy rather than like a sugar rush that we all know and love. So it's a really good choice for diabetics, for bariatric patients. I actually, when I am craving something sweet, I like to have just one date. And I think the serving size is 3, but one of them kind of tames that sugar beast. And of course, it's really great because they are low on the glycemic index. If any of you are looking for numbers, they rank like 52 to 57, so they're considered a low medium glycemic. So that's kind of cool. And then you can also substitute dates for sugar in a 1-to-1 ratio with a date paste, and I'm actually going to show you how to make that in a little bit. So you can see how this is boiling. Hold on, Maya, now I gotta. And now I'm going to add this 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, we got that going. We're gonna mix it up. You're gonna see how it gets real puffy and that baking soda gets activated, which is always a nice, fun little chemistry experiment. Chemistry in the kitchen, that's really what cooking and baking is. I will reduce the heat a little so we can see the fruit of our labor, literally and figuratively. If you have any questions, let me know. Hey, Kim. Kim just had surgery. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining. Thank you all for joining. if Lisa's out there, we've got to celebrate this girl because she's got her surgery coming up on Tuesday. Very excited for her. All right, so let's put this aside for now and let's go back to the other part of the counter and we'll let this simmer for a little bit and then we'll come back to it, okay? Come on over. So now we have to go ahead and we have to make the crisp. This is the other part of the date squares. So we've got a lot of ingredients. Maya, why don't you come back over there and then you can just focus straight ahead because I've got a lot to show you. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a 1/4 cup of each of the following. Not this. A 1/4 cup, where did my 1/4 cup go? Where did my 1/4 cup go? Found it. A 1/4 cup of hemp hearts. If you've never tried them before, they're nice and nutty. They bring a really good flavor, and I like to use it in a lot of my baking. I think the more ingredients you can use, the more well-rounded flavor you have, and that's why you're gonna see a lot of ingredients in here, but it just adds this whole like layers of flavor and a lot of much needed depth, okay? So we've got a 1/4 cup of hemp hearts. If you wanna see them, pan on into that. All right, a 1/4 cup of hazelnut flour, which is so delicious. And again, you can see the consistency of that. A 1/4 cup of milled flaxseed, super yummy, good nutrition in that. So let's do that. A 1/4 cup of chia seeds. Chia seeds are great because they expand when moisture hits them. So they're like nutritional sponges. And here, you can zone in on that. Then a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. I'm running low. Amazon shall be delivering more to me soon. And then finally, after the coconut flour, we are gonna do a 1/4 cup or 2 scoops. 2 scoops equals a 1/4 cup of our nectar. And I'm just gonna go ahead and, I already did the math, so I know a 1/4 cup is 2 scoops. All right, so we are gonna do that, and then we're gonna add a cup of almond flour. And again, is someone tripping in? Well, tell me.
We're asking if you're going to post the recipe.
Oh, the recipe will be posted at 3 o'clock, and then the bonus recipe that I have will be posted at 7 o'clock, okay? So definitely, you don't have to write anything down. I've got all this here for you coming up. It'll be posted at 3. So as I was saying, 1 cup of almond flour. I love almond flour, and I buy it locally at Sam's Club. It is by far the best bang for my buck, so I just wanted to at least let you know that, especially if you're frugal like I am. I love a good deal. All right, so we've got all of our flours and all of our seeds, and we're gonna whisk this up. Here, let me bring this. We are gonna add a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of Splenda brown sugar, and that's right here, so boom. And we wanna get that in there. And then we wanna add a 1/4 cup of, or I'm sorry, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Can you imagine if I did a 1/4 cup? It would be ridiculous. So there we go. There we go. All right, so we got that done. And I just like to whisk everything. Now, instead of using butter, I actually did the math because there are some things that I truly believe that butter cannot take the place of. But if I used butter in this recipe, we would have to add 76 calories per date square. And those aren't calories that I care to have. And that would probably be an extra 6 or 7 grams of fat from what I can do, in at least in my head. So this is all combined. So instead of using, you can come on up here, Maya. Hi. And it's the Maya and Michelle show. Instead of using butter, I can do one of 2 things for this recipe. I can use Greek yogurt or I can use applesauce. And I chose applesauce this time around because the applesauce, even though it's unsweetened applesauce, it's gonna add some much needed sweetness and some really good moisture. And we're gonna use 3/4 of a cup. And pour it on in. All right. And from here, you can either use a fork or a spoon or whatever you want. But really, I like to get things really well blended. So I'm gonna just use a hand mixer. And so Maya, you just focus on the concoction. This is gonna be our crisp. And really what we're gonna do, I just wanna make sure that everything is combined. So while we're doing this, I've already got the oven in preheated and ready to go. I've got my oven rack in the middle position because you don't want it to be too close to the bottom so it doesn't burn the bottom of your pan. So let me speed this up a little. It's looking pretty good. So I am happy with that. All right. You could, and did I say before, you can actually use honey if you want instead of the brown sugar. Honey is actually low on the glycemic index as well. So now, Maya, this is where I'm going to have you focus on this pan. We need an 8x8 pan. I like to be redundant, and I like to spray it with cooking spray. And then I'm going to have you put a fitted strip of parchment paper down so that the flaps hang over, and the cooking spray will actually help keep this in place. And this is going to be very useful for when we unmold the squares when we are ready to do that, which the process takes a little bit of time. So I've got that there. So what I'm going to do is I need to allocate half of this mixture. You're focusing on the bowl, Maya? Okay. Half this mixture to the bottom of this. You don't have to worry about spraying that. But what you do need to worry about is molding this to fit. And I always like to use the bottom of a measuring cup. You can use your hand too, and I'll probably end up doing that in just a second. Actually, I'll probably doing it right now. But before you do it, spray your hands generously with cooking spray. And then start mushing things down. So hopefully this is all making sense. So this is going to be the bottom part, and then we are going to go back to the stove and we are going to get our other concoction. And you want to get it as even as you can. Really get in there, Maya, so you can see what I'm doing. This is super important. And if you're just pressing down with a firm touch, you're ensuring that it's not going to fall apart when you cut it, and you're making sure you are maximizing that surface area. All right, there we go. Pardon me while I rinse my hands real quick because they've got cooking spray all over it, which I know you watched that. So now you can stay right there, Maya. I'm gonna bring this concoction. Well, I guess it didn't cool down really because I did not turn off the heat, but it's okay. So here is the date concoction, and it cooked enough so you can see that the dates fell apart. Now, some people like their date squares a little chunky. I like it kind of smooth, so I like to go a step further and use the hand mixer on it too. So I rinsed off my mixer thingies because I can't think of what they're called right now, and I'm just gonna kind of mix these bad boys up. Look at how, and the cool thing about this, there's no added sugar in it. It's seriously nature's candy at work. It's amazing. Is the dog down there? No, you're about to barf? Why are you about to barf? The girl does not like dates, apparently. All right, so stay focused on this, Miss Barper. It doesn't smell either. Jeez, girl, drama queen right here at my house. All right, take a look, you guys. Here is a wonderful concoction. Oh, and now here comes the dog. All right, so now all you need to do is just spread this out. You know what, Maya? More for me. That's all I have to say. More faux me. All right, So this is all nice and lovely and smelling delicious, if I do say so myself. Are there any comments we need to address? Yeah? Tell me.
Someone's asking, would an Emerson blender make mixture too thin?
Oh, you can use a blender, that's fine. If you don't have a food processor, you use your blender or a Ninja, whatever works, whatever gets the job done. Not a problem. All right, see how I have that as smoothed out as I can? That is the middle layer. And now we're gonna take the rest of this and we're gonna put it on top. Ooh, it is pouring rain here in West Michigan. I'm glad I got my exercise done early. All right, so again, I'm gonna have to spray my hands with cooking spray in order to get the rest of this mismatch down. And you gotta be really careful because you don't want it to, I kind of just like use my fingers to guide it, and then eventually it'll smooth out. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna talk while I do it, and it's gonna look perfect. The more you can get it to the sides of the pan, the better, because what will happen, and what happened, I've made this a couple times this week, because everybody at work loves them, and I'm gonna be bringing more to work Tuesday when I go back in. But if you don't get it to the sides of the pan, it'll end up looking burned because the date concoction will kind of seep out of the sides, and it tastes perfectly fine. It just looks dark. So always look for, they say beauty is pain, beauty is pain as well. So same concept. So you can see how I'm just mushing this down with my fingers, making sure that it reaches the side of the pot. And if my camera woman is doing her job, you will be able to see this. And then I just like to mush it down. And look how beautiful that looks. So we're gonna cook it for about 45 minutes until it's golden brown on top. There's a caveat to this though, and you have to try and be as patient as you can. You can look up here, Maya, at me. Hello, hello. Be as patient as you can, because you gotta let this bad boy cool for 2 to 4 hours. So yesterday when I made them, I took it out of the oven, and then my husband and I went out to dinner and shopping, and when we came back, I was able to, okay, now you can look down, Maya. So because you're not gonna see this today, but when it cools, you're gonna cool it on a rack for 2 to 4 hours, and then you're gonna take these flaps and you're gonna lift it up. And then you'll be able to cut them. I always cut in the middle, and then I cut 2 halves, and then I rotate it, and then I get the exact squares. So let me put this in the oven, and then I'm gonna show you the final product, okay? So it is going in a 350-degree oven for 45 to 55 minutes. Start checking it at the 45-minute mark because you don't want it to get too dark. You want it to be nice and golden, okay? So that's what I wanted to show you. Now let me show you the fruit of our labor, all right? Behold, so I have these presented to you in 2 different ways. So Maya, you can pan in. Okay, these are how I cut them, but then I started thinking to myself, what if I don't want one that big? So I took each of these squares and I made little bite-sized squares. So you can have 4 little bites as 1 serving, or you can have 1 big square. And the nutrition facts, you can look at me again now, Maya. Hi. The nutrition facts, each big square is 182 calories, 5 grams of fat, 29 carbs, and 5 grams of protein. And again, it kind of goes against the grain of my traditional high protein, low carb recipe, but these are that natural flavor, that natural sugar, and they're very sustaining, and they will make you feel satisfied if you're driving home from work. Just as a morning snack, it could be like a morning breakfast snack. They're super good, and then you can see I actually took some and I cut them into halves, and then I have some that are cut more. So if I work with you, you will have some of these to eat on Tuesday. So that is how they turned out. Do we have any questions, Maya? I want to show you one last recipe. It's super quick and easy. I'll leave these like that so you can see. come on over here. You can make a date paste that is made using dates that you can use for a 1-to-1 ratio instead of sugar while you're baking. So if a recipe calls for a cup of sugar, you would use a cup of date paste. And all you have to do, you need to soak your dates in hot water for about 30 minutes. So I've got these already soaked and rehydrated. Hold on, let me just drain the excess water. You're gonna put them in here. You can do this one of two ways, and I'm doing it the second way. You can add 3/4 of a cup of water here and just start blending it. And then if you have to add more water to achieve your desired consistency, you can do that. Or you can have a little bit of fun, like I like to do. And you can add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And hold on, I have to get in the fridge for this. Ah! Well, that was almost a crisis. And then 3/4 of a cup of almond milk. This is unsweetened almond milk. Ooh, and it's brand new. I just bought it yesterday. I need to, there we go. Start with, I'm gonna measure out 3/4 of a cup, but I'm gonna put a little bit in at a time. This is unsweetened almond milk. It's 30 calories a serving. I like to use it in place of like coffee cream. Whoops. It does not have a high nutrition content, a high protein content, which is why I don't like to use it just to drink. But for baking and coffee purposes, it's amazing. So go ahead, Maya. We're gonna start pulverizing this. And we're gonna slowly add the milk. Okay, can you hear me now? Can't hear? Why can't you hear? It must have been because the food processor was on. To address your question, Veronica, the bars can keep up to 2 weeks. You can put them in the fridge if you want. They are pretty good in the fridge, but you can also keep them in a sealed container on the kitchen counter, which is what I have been doing. And then Maya, switch places with me. I will show you in my cupboard. Here is the container of dates. I bought 2 of them yesterday, and you can see how big they are. They're really nice size. You can focus on the nutrition content if you want, Maya. 140 calories for 3 dates. And then again, that large carb grammage is because of the natural sugar in there. Such a great food. I'm so completely smitten by it. I am going to turn the food processor on real quick. Come on in. All right, so I'm going to turn it off now, and let's open it up so you can see this date paste. Kind of looks like baby food, but absolutely delicious. So look at this date paste. It's nice and thick. Oh my God. I forgot how much I loved it. It's amazing. So I would keep this, if you're gonna make the date paste, especially Veronica too, I would keep this in the refrigerator because it has that milk in there. So let's trade places, Maya. All right, so that is dates in a nutshell. Best date I've had all day. Remember, Bariatrics and Tips is on all social media. That's Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Lots of fun video shorts and motivational shorts on my TikTok channel. This will be posted on my YouTube channel. It'll be reposted on Bariatrics and Tips here on Facebook. I appreciate you joining me today. There is a next week's protein bar demonstration, but I will let you know by Tuesday. And if we have to postpone it, you'll still get these recipes and I'll still have the demonstration. I hope you enjoyed today. as much as I did. These things are delicious and healthy, and they have so much flavor, depth of flavor to it, that you will not feel deprived. You will not feel like you can't have this or that. We are here to experiment and have fun through food and flavor and use all of our senses. So don't be scared to do that even after bariatric surgery, okay? It's been fun hanging with you. I'll let you go. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.